And for the talk this evening, it's my again joy to give a nice present to somebody who wrote an email to me saying that they could never find any talk that I'd given on the list of talks which were recorded of mine on the 7 Bojjhanga, 7 Enlightenment factors. I thought, why not? It's a beautiful subject. Do you remember who wrote that email, Nicole? Yes, thank you. I like to take suggestions, and if it's something I missed out for one reason or another. And that particular talk is kind of beautiful. Sometimes I give talks because they're simple. Sometimes I don't give the talks because they can be too complicated. But that subject is really, really interesting and inspiring. I hope I can do it justice. This is what, in Buddhism, just to put it one way where you can describe it and make it meaningful, the Buddha talked about like 5 enemies of meditation and enlightenment: kindness, peace, simplicity, and being a beautiful person. The 5 enemies of those are what's usually called the 5 hindrances. Things like wanting, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, and doubt. Things which keep the world running very, very fast. They're called hindrances. They're kind of looked upon as enemies, for one way of looking at it. And when they're overcome, the antidote is the enlightenment factors. I'll just say them in brief first of all. The first one is mindfulness, awareness. And I don't mean forced awareness, natural awareness, beautiful mindfulness. And then from that, you can start investigating things, to know things, not by thinking too much, because people think way too much. You don't get wisdom through thinking. At university, you can get the knowledge to pass exams through thinking. But in actually real life, the real wisdom gets from silence and be able to see things clearly. And I say that as a graduate in theoretical physics from Cambridge University. But I didn't know how to know in those days. And instead of actually just thinking and remembering stuff, it's much better to see things. So you investigate stuff, not by thought, but something much more powerful than that. I don't know how many times I've given this example. What's this? What is it? It's a stick which I use usually to bang the gong. But it's not just a stick. With wisdom, this is just an example. You can see other uses for this. And the one I really like is, if my back gets itchy, it's actually very effective. Okay, that's really nice. Give me another moment, please. That's a good example of wisdom, seeing something and seeing more uses in it than you've ever seen before. And once you get this ability to see deeply into things, not the normal way they exist or they're used, but to see much more fully what they are and how they can be employed, then deeper than that, you get energy. And that's, I don't know how many people complained they're tired. Honestly, are you tired? Are you worn out? Admin officers, are you tired out, Leha, all the work you do? If you really do lots of meditation, you get so much energy, then we have to reduce your salary. The Buddhist Society of West Australia pays you because they take one look at you and think, oh, you know, you're too peaceful. You can't be working hard enough. That's not what happens. What happens is when you really meditate, you know, you really get some energy up. Oh, yes. And you just, that energy is kind of fantastic. No tiredness, you can engage in life. And I'm just giving a quick rundown of these enlightenment factors. The next thing which you have, which develops naturally, is bliss. And I like just emphasizing this point. These are the enlightenment factors. This is what happens if you start to get enlightened or get close. You bliss out. Isn't that a wonderful kind of reward? And I love that aspect of these positive things which grow when people meditate. They get joy and you can't hide it. Please don't hide it. Don't be embarrassed that you're feeling really, really, really happy. And I have to give examples of this, obviously. And one example of that is one of these execs from Sydney who came on one of my retreats here in Perth. And so the first couple of days, my goodness, she slept most of that time, the first 2 days. She was exhausted, poor girl. You know, she was an executive, you know, working really hard for her boss. And she was following my instructions. So yes, that's what I asked you to do. Be mindful enough to let go and relax to the max. For the first 3 days, she was mostly sleeping. And then she got her sleep deficit overcome. I like that word which psychologists use, sleep deficit. Most of us are too tired. What happens when we get tired? We get irritable, angry. It's just nature. So one of the best ways to overcome much of the anger in our world is take a nap. Look at the kids, they're so smart. Yeah, I'm talking about you, really smart. You lie down and take a nice rest. Good on you. You're the only disciple which I have here, I think. Oh no, in the back over there as well. Well done in the back. So what that means is that you understand what the problem is and you deal with it. And then you get very happy, very energetic. Anyway, this lady, she couldn't help apparently by sending me an email, I think on the Monday when she went back to work after the retreat. And I loved that email because that email said, you know, when I got back to work, I never said anything, but my boss just took one look at me. And he said to me, I had to beg and just promise and just grovel in front of him to get permission to go away for a week to go on this retreat. But after all that groveling, he took one look at me and he said, what is that Buddhist monk Ajahn Brahm? What drug is he giving you? Now, I'm not complaining, he said, but next time please bring me back some. Because that's the only way he could actually contemplate so much happiness and energy in one of his workers, one of his secretaries. And it was kind of amazing. But she wrote that, and she told him it's no drug. It's just a natural form of what happens when you really start getting peaceful. And you really get peaceful and understand things. You get this thing, it's called piti. It's a beautiful thing. And this is a path of joy. And after that piti, the next thing we get is passaddhi, which is like tranquility. But it's not just boring tranquility, with a higher form of happiness. It always comes with sukha, this great happiness. Do you know what happiness is? Sometimes people haven't got a clue what happiness is. They watch a movie, or watch some game, or watch. Apparently, the soccer is on right now. They watch a soccer game and they go, "Oh, goal, wonderful." No, honestly, is that real happiness? I used to be into soccer when I was young. And how many teams are playing in these tournaments? I think I'm going to get into trouble with somebody. I think it was 64. I think it was 64. Or was it 48? I don't know. But anyway, say it was 64 teams. How many succeed? One. They only succeed once. They never win it twice. At least not in the same year. So you've got a 63-1 chance of ending the tournament disappointed. And it's the team which lose in the final are the most disappointed. They came so close. They came so close, it just the last match, and we lost. Because I studied maths, I know just how stupid it is to follow those things. You're just following suffering, guaranteed. But you do meditation, wow. Honestly, everyone is a winner. Everyone gets blissed out. if they follow what they're supposed to do and just let go a lot. And sometimes people say it's advertising, everyone's a winner. Would you like it like that? Everyone is a winner. They come here, and after a retreat, it's great. Sometimes the last day of retreats, you see people and look at them. Look at their smile. The corner of the mouth are never down, they're up here somewhere. So anyway, that's what happens. The passaddhi comes with sukha. The stillness, tranquility. I never said anything less than usual during the instructions of the meditation this afternoon, this evening, kind of on purpose, because I wanted you to feel what that tranquility is like. You're sitting here and I'm not adding to the noise. You can feel peace. There are some places in this world you can go which are incredibly peaceful. And I know sometimes some people said, "Oh, by the ocean." No, the ocean's a noisy place to go to. But you go to even forests can be much more still than the ocean. You go to deserts, it's very still. But the most still place I've found in my monastic life, the external stillness, cave. I love it. I've got a cave, okay? That's where I live. I live in a cave. That's why I always feel jealous of bears, because bears live in caves. And if you don't believe me, one day you can come and visit Bodhinyana Monastery and have a look in my cave. It's got 2 doors. I don't allow any sound inside my cave. No IT system at all is allowed in that cave. So you try and email me, there's nothing in there to email. It's perfectly silent. You know what that feels like? The silence? Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. It's the best sound in the world. I used to like music when I was young. First of all, rock music. Yeah, it's exciting, but then sort of classical music, and then no music, silence, which is the most beautiful sound in the whole world. It just makes your mind become silent. And in that silence, what does it feel like? You kind of soak it in. And I feel it's disrespectful to disturb any silence with your own thoughts or comments. Silence to me is something which is sacred. And in that word sacred, something you should respect. And you feel it, you see it, you can hear it, you allow it to go into you. And how beautiful that is. Silence, you can't add to it, you can only take away from it. Silence is full. And silence, you never have to argue with silence. Just drink it in as much as you can. And then after that silence, we get what we call, I'm rushing ahead way too far. When you get into interesting subjects like this, sometimes I talk too much. Sorry, but I can't help it. But that's the samadhi. And that samadhi now, we're really going places. The samadhi is the stillness, real stillness of the mind. And that's where you get into the great states of the jhanas. Those are beautiful. We've already started, with the thing called piti, the joy. And then you go into the passaddhi, the tranquility, which always comes with another joy of sukha. And then from there we get into samadhi. And these are the amazing states of mind which you can experience. Sometimes I call it deep meditation. And sometimes, I like giving some examples of this, how people experience these stages without ever thinking it's possible. They kind of fluke these deep meditations of samadhi. When it happens, your mind is fully aware. Sometimes we think we know what awareness is. Do you? Here you can see all the different aspects of something. That's why sometimes if you get some samadhi, you can see so much in everything. I've given some examples before, and one of those examples, one of the first times I got into some nice samadhi, this big, brilliant, powerful stillness, was afterwards. It was on a meditation retreat when I was still a lay person, and I was allowed, part of the routine was to be able to go for a walk, exercise every morning for 1 hour before breakfast. And this was, I knew the area so well, this was in my university at Cambridge in UK. And I went to the botanical gardens. I thought it'd be a great place to have a walk. Not many people around that time of the morning because it was cold. But I went to the back gate. Went into that back gate. And that was so many years ago. I was only 18 at the time. And I can still remember it perfectly. Went into the back gate and you just saw this clump of bamboo which they planted there. It's the wrong kind of plant to grow in a place like Cambridge, it was very cold and windy. And so I saw it and it was so beautiful. That's what I was really surprised with. How beautiful can a clump of bamboo grown in the wrong place look? Have you ever noticed bamboo is in so many Chinese watercolors? And the reason is because its colors are not bombarding you. They're soft yellows and greens, and they taper, to the, we might always call it the place where the stems of bamboo join together. And even the leaves are tapered, a beautiful green color. And the whole thing is so sensuous, just one strand of bamboo. And then it just dances in the wind when the wind blows. And I was kind of enchanted, is the right word, with watching that clump of bamboo. It's the most beautiful clump of bamboo I've ever seen in the whole world. And later on, of course, I did go to Asia, and just to see just healthy bamboo. This was bamboo which was not healthy. But my goodness, it was so gorgeous. And when I looked at it, I was staring at it. And the word these days, gobsmacked. Oh, look at that. And I had enough self-awareness, even though it was early in the morning, hardly anybody was there. If I carried on looking at this clump of bamboo for minutes after minutes after minutes, I would expect an ambulance to come. And I think this guy, and the police as well, this guy must be on some sort of drugs. He's the only sort of guy who would actually stare at a clump of bamboo. No one else would. So I did see a bench where I could sit down, and then, people would leave me alone. And I did that every day for 8 days. Go there and sat for about 50 minutes, never exhausting what I could see in that beautiful clump of bamboo. That's what happens when you get into that deep sense of stillness. You can see things which other people can't see. The beauty, the depth. But just to disappoint you, that after the retreat was over, and I went back to the studies and messing around as young guys would do, parties and girlfriends and all that sort of stuff. But then, when I went to, I had an afternoon free, so I went to go and visit the most beautiful clump of bamboo in the whole world, on a bicycle, and going through traffic, maneuvering, and then getting to that clump of bamboo. It wasn't there anymore. They hadn't taken it out. It's my mindfulness could not see it anymore. I'd lost my stillness, the ability to watch something and not move. The longer you look at something without moving, just peacefully, it starts to open out to you. You start to see so much more beauty. To this day, I always feel the great artists, they're not born with the ability to see. It's what they develop through what we call samadhi, the deep meditation stillness. It's amazing what you can see in this world, which most people miss. To give you another example, which I haven't said for such a long time now, that, I live down in Serpentine, at Bodhinyana Monastery. I hope many of you have been there. But for so many years, especially when I was building that place, I go up the hill called Kingsbury Drive. It's about 2.1, 2.2 kilometers in a car. And honestly, one day, I forget exactly what I'd been doing, but I got to the bottom of the hill early. And I decided, I'm going to walk up the hill today alone. So I sat in the car with the driver up ahead. I'm going to walk. And that kind of really shocked me. I didn't get much exercise, I must admit, because I did walk so slowly. And every now and again I turned to the left to see the valley, turn to the right and see the hillside. And my goodness, often I had to ask myself, where am I? I could not recognize my location. And I've been living up the top of that hill for about 5 or 6 years by that time. The first time I actually walked up that hill. It looked totally different than what I could remember. And how can that be? I soon sort of, used my science training. What is happening? If you look through the window of a car, it may be only going 30 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, I don't know. But when you look through the window of a car, what happens? The light hits the retina in the back of your eye. You don't have time to appreciate it, see everything, all the beauty there. And you move a little bit and more light hits your eye, dislodges the first image, and you've got to attend to something new. Really, if you walk fast or you run or you're in a car, you simply don't see what's around you. Even the mind doesn't have a chance to really understand what you're looking at. But when you start going slowly, or every now and again stop, and you see so much more of life. Do you understand that simile? Try it. I don't know where you live, but try the next time you go home, get out of the car, park it, tell your husband to drive along, and you just walk the last 200, 300 meters. Sometimes you can't recognize the street in which you live. You see so much more. It looks so much more beautiful. Because you are more aware, more mindful. It's gorgeous when you do things like that. Sometimes, I'm privileged to live in a nice place, like this monastery. And sometimes, even maybe this time of the year, but maybe a bit later, we have these, they call them stupas. They're monuments. They're based, on the stupas which are built on the big Buddhist monument Borobudur in Indonesia, in the central Java. The same sort of design. And when we were building Jhana Grove, this wonderful monk, the head monk over in Indonesia, he wanted to help, and he donated these 2 monuments for us. Exactly the same, from the same stone as they made the original monuments. And he said, what size would you like them? And I do know that the number 108 is like a holy number in Buddhism. I don't know, they have some holy numbers, so why not? So I made them 108% the size, in other words, 8% bigger than the real ones in Borobudur. And one of the reasons I love those little statues is because sometimes when you're on a retreat, it's soaked up the warmth of the sun during the day, and you can lay down on them and just look at the stars in the heavens above. It's like you've never seen the stars in the heavens before, because your mindfulness is so improved, so increased, and they're gorgeous. Here we all know looking at the stars at night is beautiful, but you've never seen them that beautiful ever before. And that's all for free. That shows you what is happening with mindfulness, awareness, and the beautiful stillness, how that enhances your visual apparatus, how that enhances even your hearing. Everything is much more full. You hear much more. And it's incredible just how everything you see and hear is way more beautiful than you've ever expected to be. That's why you just lay back there and just enjoy it for hours, like a free show. And it's warm underneath. It's like grey stone, so it does absorb the heat. And you can just lay down there for a long time, just enjoying. So any of you ever go on one of those retreats over in Jhana Grove, don't forget, if it's warm enough, lay back and just look at the Milky Way. Wow. You've never seen them like that before. Simply because you've trained your mind to be able to see. And then, from that samadhi, that stillness, then you have what they call like upekkha. And many of you have heard me say this so many times before. Sometimes it's translated as equanimity. I just really don't like that translation at all. In a few places, I know my Pali, I know my suttas, they do actually mention the bliss of equanimity, where you just see this so gorgeously, because all of the reactions and reflections get so still, so peaceful, and nothing is moving at all. And that becomes so incredibly blissful. Every stage where you develop the factors of enlightenment, the fact you called it factors of enlightenment, is telling you that this is beautiful things which you're seeing, really inspiring. You see so much more in them than you've ever seen before. You want to know what beauty is, and this just blows your mind, literally. And you realize that so much of our time, when people say we are half asleep, it's so true. All your sensory faculties, you're not really sort of learning how to make use of them the best. And that causes so much suffering in our life. And it all starts, it's a sequential process, from mindfulness. Sometimes, how do you develop that mindfulness? You need some stillness first of all, to really see things. That's why that sometimes I was a school teacher for 1 year, only for a year and a half. But why is it that sometimes, kids can't understand? They can't see. They can't feel properly. Have you ever had any difficulties, with a close associate? It could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife. Why is it they can't see? A lot of times it's because they're tired. Their mind is tired. And they're so tired, they create so many mistakes. And they don't know how to let go and be really still and peaceful, and seeing beauty where they never thought it could exist. That hillside, I saw things in that hillside when I was walking up it slowly. I had all the time in the world. I didn't have an appointment up the top for lunch. I knew they would always wait for me. I was a boss monk. All I needed to do was take my time, and I did. And I saw little trees or patches of grass, In the valley you could see the creek running. It was gorgeous. How could I have missed that for so many years? How could you miss the beauty in the street in which you live? How could we miss the beauty in that park which is opposite us? And all the amazing things which are happening in it. You learn how to see much more. You're not told, this is a weed, this is a rare plant, this is, oh crikey. They're all rare plants, because you're seeing them for the first time, and they're incredibly beautiful. And they're incredibly beautiful. And what do I know about plants? Physics, yes. Show me a Milky Way and say, yeah, that's beautiful. But plants, you can see them for the first time. And they're absolutely amazingly beautiful and gorgeous. Sometimes people ask me, Ajahn Brahm, you're a male. Don't you ever see a beautiful girl and get some lust? I say, actually, no. I see an old woman and see beauty. I'm not weird. I see beauty in places you're not supposed to see beauty. Just, in just the way that they relax or sit. You find beauty where you never expect to find it. And you're just there. Because you're very still and peaceful. You can see so much gorgeous stuff where it's not supposed to be. And I always feel, I did do some painting when I was young, some drawing, I even did some poetry when I was young. I should actually not throw it away, because I'm sure that some of it, was learning how to see beauty where other people couldn't. And just how wonderful that would be. That's one of the reasons why when you learn about enlightenment factors, mindfulness and investigation, there's so many interesting things you can look at. Other people think it's boring. You just look at it and crikey, there's so much going on there. And then you can go even deeper and you get energy. Really lots of energy. That's why, sometimes our life people get tired, worn out. That's a great shame. Those of you who know me, do I work too hard? Do I work too hard? Look, Ksenia, you were the president last year for 3 years. Do I work hard? Where do I get my energy from? Great, thank you. Did you say that because you're supposed to say that, or was that honest? There's sometimes, you should be, I'm 75 next week, not next week, next month. 900 months. You're supposed to be totally worn out. But instead you get energy, beautiful energy. And when you get that beautiful energy, wow, it's so nice. And of course, what's my first reaction when I get these surges of gorgeous energy? I want to share it with you. Give it to you. Take some, I've got too much. Why? This is the nature of the mind. When we don't know how to make the best use of it, we get tired. And we force ourselves. Please don't force yourself. Just lay high. You've got many years to work as admin officer, so enjoy it. Get beautiful entries. Sometimes you get some letters or some comments, they really inspire you. Listen to some of the letters you showed me today. Wow, they're gorgeous, amazing. You're actually getting to people. uplifting them. And they're seeing ways out of problems which should never have happened to them. But afterwards they say sometimes it was worth it. An enormous problem, but the way out of it was even more valuable. To see how you can find peace and meaning and energy and joy. How you can understand this thing we call life and get so gorgeously blissed out. And that's how you can, somebody, they're not here, thank goodness. They're asking, can we please replace the carpets in the monks' quarters here? What for? They look gorgeous. To me, she never asked me. So I say, why are they gorgeous? And I really mean that. They look beautiful. Look at this carpet here. This is what will happen to you if you keep listening to me. Sometimes you sit meditation here, and then after the meditation is finished, just a half an hour, you get very peaceful, very still, and you open your eyes and wow, look at that pattern and all the colours in that carpet. How many colours can you see in that carpet right in front of you? Goodness gracious. The longer I look, the more I see. And after a while, you look at the patterns, and the patterns are gorgeous. I haven't said this story yet, I'm kind of resisting it, but I think it's a nice story to finish up on. Many of you know it, it's a classic Ajahn Brahm story. I don't think anyone else has had the nerve to tell it. On one retreat, which I was teaching at Jhana Grove, I also have to meditate. Not because I have to, I can't resist it. I'm addicted. I don't mind saying I'm addicted to meditation. I really enjoy it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this every Saturday morning, many times a day. But this time, after meditating, I had to go to the toilet. How many have not heard the toilet story? You've all heard it. Well, I'm going to tell it anyway. So. To do a number 2. You know what a number 2 means, don't you? So I remember where it was. I should put a plaque. Over in Australia, in UK, they put a plaque where famous things happen. So I went into that toilet, did a number 2. My mistake was, it was in the male toilets at Jhana Grove, on the middle toilet, not the one on the left or the right, the 3 toilets in a row, the middle one. That's how your memories are so amazing. When I sat on there, did my number 2, my mistake was looking in the bowl. Sometimes it's a good thing to do in case there's something wrong with your feces, at least you can inspect it. But there wasn't anything wrong at all. What really struck me was how beautiful it was. Now you may laugh, but this was actually true. Just the way those balls were all put together. It was a work of art, honestly. Have you had any training in artwork, and especially sculpture? Just the way that the big balls and the small balls related together. And it was done by like a Michelangelo or Rodin. It was really, really artistic, honestly. And then came the interaction of the different shades of brown. It's not just one shade of brown. Honestly, next time you go to the loo, check me out and see if I'm correct or not. Different shades. And that was like, I couldn't believe that such a great artwork had been created. And then of course, I'm rushing through this. Then of course, the fragrance. Okay, I'm a monk, you don't sort of meet people with too many scents or odours on them. But this was actually the odour of this piece of feces floating in the toilet bowl. It was like earthy. It was real. It was not fake. And that made it really gorgeous. And I was just standing there and going, wow, 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 look at that. And honestly, I tell the monks, when I tell them this story, and the retreatants as well, I thought, no way in the world can I flush that down the pipes. I'm going to take that out and put it in a case so I can preserve it for eternity, so people can have a look what beauty really is. And I'm being honest with you, that really did look gorgeous. And it smelled incredibly fragrant. And you always laugh and grin because you think I'm crazy. But it's not craziness. That's what happens when you get some deep meditation. Those enlightenment factors start to build up. And what you see is always incredibly beautiful. Wouldn't you like to add more beauty to your life? More natural happiness? But if you do that, if it's our public toilets, please don't look at the contents. Flush it quickly and then go. Otherwise, we'll never have enough vacant toilets available at the BSWA. But that's not just describing truth to you, that's what happens. Enlightenment factors. You see so much beauty. And so it's the last factor, I didn't explain it perfectly there, the upekkha. It's not just equanimity. It's just you don't want to ever change anything. You see gorgeous beauty everywhere. You want to share that beauty. Why change this carpet? Or why change the carpet in the monks' quarters? It's gorgeous. And so if ever you want to change it, please wait until I'm at a different monastery somewhere overseas, so I can't comment. Otherwise I say, what are you doing? That's beautiful. As it is. Don't you like old stuff? Sometimes, why is it we think, just because it's old, it needs to be changed? Why does Ajahn Brahm is old? Do I need to be changed? How many people have taught you the insight of seeing a piece of feces as one of the most beautiful things in the whole world? And I mean that. So anyway, that's what happens when you get into this meditation. Have a beautiful time. You start to appreciate this world in a way you've never appreciated it before. You can actually just poke through the fabric of suffering and get beyond it. And see beauty where you never expected to see it. All for free. No one will believe you unless they've actually come and heard a talk like this. Thank you all for listening. And thank you for giving me that suggestion. Okay, so now, questions. Oh, they're coming over there. You got any questions over there on the computer? Okay. Okay. Have we got any? Okay. We got the microphone? Okay. Okay.
Sorry, is it my turn?
Okay, go on. Yes, you're the president
Okay.
this year, so he comes first. You can come second. He's a president.
Ajahn, the 7 enlightenment factors and the Bojjhanga Paritha, the Paritha that is chanted for healing, including Buddha himself had it chanted for him when he was not well. What is the connection, Ajahn? How does it work? And what is the...
Because those chants, when you understand what you're chanting, what the meaning is, it inspires you. When I was giving that talk, there was no pressure on me at all. I really enjoyed giving that talk, explaining it, and its meaning, the happiness it gives me. So it's a happiness, and I'm in good shape at the moment. I've got no diseases that I know about. And if I did have any, those diseases would soon just have to run away somewhere else. Because when you understand the power of that joy, that some enlightened being years ago could understand that, and you could see it for yourself. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's wonderful to know that what other people say is suffering is just like the Milky Way, or it's like an old carpet. You see its beauty. You don't want to actually to change it or get rid of it. Just leave it alone. Much less work to do.
Right, so just the inner happiness, I guess. Eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Happiness overcomes
Please,
suffering,
yeah.
especially sicknesses.
Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a
Ajahn
question quickly. Actually,
Where are you?
I'm over here.
Okay. Hi.
I had a similar experience when I was a child on LSD that you talk about. My teacher, my spiritual teacher, said it was cheating, but
Cheating.
I was okay with that at that time.
Yeah.
As a novice. I just wanted to quickly say that every winter I collect blankets and camping equipment for people experiencing homelessness, and if anybody wants to bring any, they could see me here, or they could contact me, or you could, I can let you know where you can take them to. One place is next to the police station in Northbridge on James Street, a place called the BSWA Centre. That's all I wanted to say. It's really cold out there, and there's a lot of people sleeping, including groups of women in Northbridge and in the city. So if anyone can help, that'd be much appreciated.
What's it called again?
The centre's called RUAH, R-U-A-H.
Excellent.
They're next to the police station on James Street.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's great. You know, sometimes I'm amazed at homeless people. They can be so kind to others. Years and years ago, when we were holding some conference over in the convention hall over in the centre of Perth, we had food prepared for everybody, but one of the monks took his bowl and went on alms round instead. And no one knew he was coming. And one of the people who gave him a sandwich was this homeless guy. And I brought tears, not just to his eyes, but the kindness that homeless guy showed. Totally unexpected and beautiful. Even homeless guys with no money at all could find the joy in giving, a sandwich to a monk on alms round. I felt a bit jealous that I wasn't that monk who went out to give that opportunity for joy. So many beautiful things can happen, and sometimes they're homeless people. One of the stories which I also remember is the Franciscan story of this monk who, in the early days, when he went out on alms run, because they weren't allowed money in those days, the Franciscans, they had to go begging for food. And he went out to beg for food, And one of the very poor people said, "Why are you asking me for food? You know, you've got beautiful clothes you're wearing, a nice robe. Can you give me the robe, please? I'm asking from you." And the Franciscan monk said, "Well, you got a point there." So he gave him his clothes to this homeless man. And so when he got back to his monastery, he was totally naked. And so the person who was guarding the door of the monastery said, "We don't allow weirdos into this monastery. This is a Franciscan monastery. Get out." And when this monk started talking, they reckoned, "Oh, it's you." He said, "Yeah, what happened to your robe? Were you attacked and it was stolen?" No, he said, "I gave it away." And so they said, "That's a nice thing to do. You're a monk, you should give things away as well." And then the same thing happened the next day. The word went around, the poor people, this guy's, they thought he was a bit dumb. But then somebody else asked for his robe the next day, and he gave it away again. This time they knew who it was. So the next time he had to go and be interviewed by the abbot of the Franciscan monastery. And the abbot said, "You can't give away your robes. We've only got so many robes. People are taking advantage of you." And he talked like this for an hour. He really scolded this young monk who'd given away his robes. And then, half an hour later, this monk who was scolded was knocking on the abbot's door to give him a cup of soup. The abbot, "Why are you rewarding me? I've just been scolding you for an hour." "Yes," said the monk, "and I thought your throat must be so sore by an hour of scolding, so please take some soup." That really was a kind monk. Instead of just saying, "Well, I'm supposed to be generous as well," the scolded monk said, "No, have some soup." And that's really beautiful. Okay, next question is the question.
Can I?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, Ajahn Brahm, thanks for the really wonderful talk tonight, on Bhojangas, a real healer, okay?
Oh, yeah.
My question is the same as Prem, Prem's question. I'm going to ask you more in more detail, okay?
Yeah.
It is said that when the Buddha was sick, Chunda recited the Bhojangas and he got well,
Yeah.
So was when the monks in Buddha's time was sick, Buddha recited the Bhojangas, that is the 7 factors of enlightenment, and the monks got well,
Yeah.
My question to ask you, how do they, the chanting, the power from the chanting, how does it work, Does it work like, for example, the factors, 7 factors, investigation of when Buddha was chanting, and then that's my, please, and then the monks, the sick, the monk would say, 7 factors like investigation of Dharma, things are impermanent, let go this thing, okay, have positive things like that. And then the monks become mindful these things, and when they become mindful these things, there is the bliss comes out, like tranquility, till finally is equanimity, and then they feel and also the power from the Buddha too, both ways. Is that this way like that, Ajahn Brahm?
Yeah, it's just basically the joy. Remember when you're really sick? I remember the sicknesses years ago, that sometimes, just all your kind of happiness kind of disappears. You really got no energy, you feel hopeless, you can't even go to the toilet in time, everything starts to fall apart. And imagine that somebody comes along, and please excuse me, and they tell you a joke. A funny story. That's a sign. Just the joy you get from a funny story. That starts to forget about the pain or the tiredness, and somebody comes to see you. Wow. And then they start talking Dhamma to you. and you get really sort of inspired. And it's the inspiration is exactly what I was trying to talk about. Imagine just the power of inspiration. These days, what's inspiring in your life? What inspires you? You know, there's sometimes some of the teachings of the Buddha, like the Bojjhanga, there's other things which can inspire you as well. Some of the, like that homeless guy who gave a sandwich to a monk, you know, in, what's that street outside the convention centre? Wellington Street, is it? Anyway, right in the centre of town. The kindness that guy had, wow. And that just, you know, made my eyes watery. Have you seen inspiring people in this world? And just, they do it just because it's a beautiful thing to do. If ever you see that, just remember it. And that's much better than a Panadol.
Yeah. And also, Ajahn Brahm, you know, the highest of the 7 factors Bojjhangas is equanimity. So as the Buddha was, for example, chanting all, okay, so they went through all the stages, you know, blah, 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 to finally, equanimity, no problem, you know.
It's the
and
highest
then
happiness.
Happiness, so they get well, you know.
Yeah.
So just one more, and then, no, this is the Bojjhanga, 7 factors, okay, equanimity. The next one is your expert, okay. That is the highest. They say the highest jhana is equanimity.
The 4th jhana, yes.
Yeah, the equanimity, the thing now. So it works. Yours is more like the chanting that you know when you reach samadhi, all you know. Maybe you can tell us about that, Ajahn Brahm?
You know what you're talking about. Of inspiration, joy, stillness, and the power of it. You feel that power. Honestly, that's why when I teach meditation retreats, that's why I like talking about all the examples of deep meditation, things like jhanas. I ask people the first couple of days sleep a lot. Get your energy back up, just physical energy. Find inspiration. Go out at night to see the stars at night. You can sleep later on. You don't have to always be there for the talks which I give and the blessings which you give. Yeah, nice to be around for that, but find your body, feel it, and grow with it in the day. And if you don't feel like sleeping, no need to. Just go out there and just look at the stars or look at the animals. Just sit there meditating. Look, we're going to have that retreat with the the Hong Kongese and the what's the other one? Sorry, the Indonesians come in a week or two's time. And the last year, and it shows it does actually happen. There was one lady. She was meditating on the day we were celebrating the beginning of the rains. And it was Della came up to me and said, she's sitting on the sitting meditation on the stupa in the early morning. She'd been sitting there most of the night. Hours on the stupa. And Della, who was organizing the retreat, asked her, please come out of the meditation. We've got to do the ceremony, in a few minutes. And also that later on today we've got to go to the airport to go back to Hong Kong. We can't leave you here in Perth sitting on a stupa. And then she came and told me, Della, the lady didn't move. And it's one of those important things to know. If they are still warm, they're not dead. Don't call ambulance. To get them out of meditation, be incredibly kind. And I say to add, so that the importance of what you say as kindly as you can, Ajahn Brahm asks you to come over to Bodhinyana Monastery. It's a 15-minute walk, that's all. And Della came back in her car and said, it didn't work. Yes, it does. And she waited, and then she walked over. That's how you get a person out of deep meditation.
Just what? Sorry, please, one more, okay? Just one more.
Only one.
One more, yeah. Okay, one more. No, important now. You see, here us BSWA under you, okay? Ours is more towards the meditation, you know.
Oh yeah.
You are the expert here, and you are the one to speak, you know. And whereas the Bojangas, we don't do that here, isn't it? The Sri Lankan monks, you know, Malaysia where I come from, there's all these Bojangas, they do the chanting, you know. Whereas we don't do much of this here, isn't it?
Monks do, I do.
You do too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I didn't know, I didn't hear you. Maybe you should give more.
Bojango sati sankato dhammanang vichayo tata viriyam piti pasadi bojanga chatata pare samadupeka bojanga sate te sabadasinang munina samadakata bhavana bhirata. I left out the upeka.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Yeah. Of course we do.
That's
that.
healing, Ajahn Brahm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
those are things
yeah.
which you grow up with. But a lot of times people don't understand what it means. I know what I'm chanting, but if you don't understand what it means, it doesn't have the same power.
I know power. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should have one more talk on Bojang, on 7 factors of enlightenment.
Yeah, well that was because of Nicole over there. She asked me a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't find a talk on that subject. So that's why I did it today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I've got some questions over here from internet. Dear Ajahn, how to overcome emotional stress? Metta to all. Thank you. That's how to get rid of emotional stress. Giving metta to all. Emotional stress. I must be an expert on emotional stress because I don't have any. Why do we get stressed out about? Anyway, so ask another monk that question. Aditya. Dear Ajahn, how to distinguish between being kind and being unskillful? See how people react to it. I try to be kind and I land in trouble due to lack of mindfulness and discretion. A lot of times, if you have friends who are also Buddhists, they understand what you're up to. Like there was one person who came and saw me today, I'm just making sure they're not here because I might embarrass them. And they said they were trying to be kind to others, but they were getting burnt out. Sometimes you must always remember to be kind to yourself, as well as to others. You count as well. How many people are in this room now? 70, 80? Each one of you count. So don't just think you have to sacrifice yourself totally for others. You just treat yourself as you would treat somebody else. There's times when you have to be kind to yourself, as well as kind to others. When you balance it correctly, then you realize it works. Question from US. Dear Ajahn, what is a healthy marriage? I feel anxious with some of my partner attitude. I'm not able to prioritize my parents' work. You don't prioritize anyone's work. You just see what is the best way at all times, to look after your partner in life, look after your own practice, look after your parents, and everybody else you meet. Who is the most important person in the world? Not yourself, no. The most important person in life is the one right in front of you. Those are the Emperor's 3 questions. Beautiful answers. And what's the most important thing to do? To care. The most important person is the person right in front of you, whoever that happens to be. A lot of the times, you're alone. Then you are right in front of you. So you're the most important person sometimes. When I go to my room or my cave and lock the cave door, I'm the only person I see. So guess who's really important then? Yeah, I look after myself. And the most important thing to do is to care. And the third emperor's question, what's the most important thing to do? And now, what's the most important time? That's the easy one, now. Don't think the most important time, like some kids were telling me today, when they do their exams. It's not the most important time. The most important time is right now, or whatever you're doing right now. Okay. Is that enough? Any other questions? Going. Oh no, you've got one over there. Go on. Okay.
Thank you. I actually had 2 questions, and my first one was, you were talking about when you were at uni and you were cycling back and you saw the bamboo plant, and it didn't have that same significance for you anymore. How did you go back to kind of maintaining that again? Because I feel I had something similar in the past, and I've really never been able to get back because of the busyness of life.
You're not always busy. This evening, are you busy this evening? You're here in this temple right now. You give importance to this moment, and then you find the mind gets very strong again. And yeah, you may be very busy, but tomorrow's Saturday and Sunday soon. You do have holidays. Well, number one, if you do feel tired, sleep a lot. Don't worry about what other people think. Say, get up, you've been sleeping all day. No, sleep a bit longer. Look after yourself, you're important. And after a while, when you are awake, don't get worrying about things. Don't waste the mind's energy by getting negative. So, and then after a while, it's like you wake up. And you see so much beauty in anything. These old plastic chairs, have you had a look at them? They're gorgeous. You see the shape of them? I haven't figured that out. They're geniuses. Just the fact that you can buy them in a shop for hardly anything, that doesn't count for anything. And sometimes you see so much. Are these things good? Little tablets? They allow you to ask a question from overseas, wherever you are. If you can see them in a positive light, wow, it's amazing. And I can just press something, I better not yet, and then the whole thing vanishes and you can use it again tomorrow. It can be a great invention if you know how to use them wisely, which is not all the time. You know who to give it to, so they'll never get back to you. So that's actually how we can live in our life. So one question. Yeah?
Yes, thank you so much. And then my second question was, the people around us, how can we navigate our relationships with more mindfulness and kind of bring that into our, again, like, kind of chaotic lives? We've got kids and things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like how can we help to navigate relationships?
Oh, yeah, with kids, especially young kids. But never underestimate the wisdom of young kids. Say, Mummy's tired. And then just close your eyes and take a little break. I remember one mummy, she used to be in our Armadale group years ago, and I was teaching over there regularly. And she said that one day, she wanted to do a meditation, and her 2 kids would not let mother go for half an hour. So what she did, she sat down on a nice cushion, and then her little boy and little girl would climb all over her and pull her hair. Mummy, 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 I need to go to the toilet. Well, just go. Mummy, mummy, I need a glass of water. Mummy, mummy, mummy. And then I told her, just don't respond. It's your time. And then it's amazing just how innovative kids can be. You may know this if you've got young kids. Don't underestimate them. They started crawling all over her, pulling her hair. Mummy, 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 mummy. And so they realized that wasn't working on this occasion. Mummy, 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 Janet's got the kitchen knife out from the drawer, the sharp one. Mummy, mummy. Billy's turned on the gas and got the... And I was... When this mother told me this, I was laughing my head off, because she never moved. If the kids want to cut themselves to pieces, she can clean up the blood at work afterwards. If they want to blow up the house, well, so what? And she just sat there. And after half an hour, when she opened her eyes, her meditation was finished. The house was still there, so were her kids. They were just playing easily and calmly in the corner. They hadn't cut themselves, they hadn't blown up anything. It's just what we fear. Oh my goodness, they may kill themselves, they may kill me, they may blow up the house. Trust your kids. And after that incident, she had half an hour whenever she wanted for her own meditation. And the kids found they had a much nicer mummy as a result, as you can expect. She won her meditation time.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a true story. I really admired that girl for what she did. Yay, right on. Poor old Billy gets so much exercise.
Okay, I'll be really quick. Hi.
No, just
Hello, I'm Cynthia.
that's his exercise.
Eh?
He doesn't need to go to the gym.
I know.
Yeah, good.
Demanding job. Firstly, we were talking about ruah before. It's a Hebrew word and it means like the breath of God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Secondly, 2 years ago I was here crying about my son, the gaming addict.
Yeah.
So he's still gaming after 4 years, but he's completed his first semester at TAFE.
Yay.
Yeah. So thank you for all of the encouragement. Yeah, it's very tough. He pulled out of school, so he didn't go to high school, basically. Yeah, and the other thing is he started train surfing, like on the back of trains.
Oh, yeah.
So I heard once that perhaps within Buddhism wisdom that actually our children don't always belong to us as parents. I think I'm a bit desensitized, to be honest.
Yeah.
What can I say to him? He won't listen. We have a very caring and loving relationship.
Yeah.
After
You know
all
that
of
sometimes we think the kids don't listen, but they do. They just don't admit it. You're the mum. If you say kind things, this is something positive, but don't expect results. And sometimes there's just one person in the world who never criticizes them. And imagine how beautiful that would be. Okay. Okay, so we don't want to give Bill a heart attack. So let's just bow 3 times, and then we can always go and have a rest. Patitano Bhagava